Good day, everyone, especially to our very own instructor, Miss Emily Hungao. By the way, my name is Rafael Achamiliagas, and on behalf of my group mates, I'll be the one to present and discuss to you our research paper as a proposed paper for this moment. So, without further ado, let me now begin my discussion. Our research study is all about the different strategies used in teaching mathematics during the pandemic. And here's the researchers, namely yours truly, Miss Laga Jerry Nenyaline, Miss Lorca Mary Rose, Miss Malio Annie Rose, and Miss Mauna Saima. So let's proceed now for the introduction. Most people in our country are still doubting and arguing about why does the COVID-19 or pandemic existing. For that, many cases or in our situations, many are attempting to just stop schooling. So the question there is, why do we need to still studying during the pandemic? By the way, it's not an excuses nor it's not a compulsory for us to engage education, because for we know that education aims at ensuring all young people like us, students, give the opportunity to complete secondary education as particular. However, because of the threat of this coronavirus or of this pandemic, students like us obliged to stay at home. So in this study in particular, it is essential to identify the different strategies and its effectivity towards students. Also, examining how does this pandemic become a barrier and how teachers engage multiple strategies to introduce among students. The different strategies includes two things. First, the control strategies, and second, the elaboration strategies. According to Dean 2018, it is important that students receive clear, specific, constructive, and accurate feedback on their home learning tasks. In the situations that we have now, our parents or our families are given the responsibility to teach their children or to teach their students in particular in or at home. So parents' involvement are very essential at this moment. So during the pandemic, most of the students ought to stop studying. There are most of the people are losing their job. That's especially to our parents. That's why unemployment are now increasing nowadays. And that children, especially their students of many of our parents right now, nowadays are urged to stop studying. So in this 21st century, many things really happen, especially on how to adopt and adjust for the new mode of learning, especially in this modular learning. So self-learning rather is a medium exercises nowadays. So the key terms here or the keywords are the control strategies and elaboration strategies. I have said this already a while ago, so let me define to you the control strategies first before we proceed to the next slide. By the way, the control strategies is a strategy rather in which derives from the frequency with which students use the following strategies when studying: self-clarification, checking and clarifying whether the student remembers or misunderstood what he or she had learned, and looking for additional sources of information for furthering his or her understanding. And the second strategy will be the elaboration strategy. It is the strategy when studying tries to relate the new material to things he or she learned in other subjects or in the past, or to what she or he already knows, and tries to examine whether the new material conforms to his or her previous knowledge. So the objectives in this study evaluate the different strategies used in teaching mathematics during the pandemic. Specifically, this study aims to identify the different strategies used in teaching mathematics during the pandemic. Second, to assess if the strategies that they use can benefit students. And the third one is to determine the impact of different strategies to the students. So now let's proceed to the related study, or our anchorage in our research paper. By the way, our research study was anchored by the author named Megan Nagar, and from 2016, the studies of effects of learning strategies on mathematical literacy, a comparison between lower and higher achieving countries. Thus, the researchers used the memorization, control, and elaboration strategies in distinguish between the kinds of contribution that each strategy had, and on what role of those learning strategy in explaining students' mathematical literacy. Well, in fact, our research paper only used, or the researchers only used two strategies: the control and elaboration strategies, while our anchorage uses three strategies: the memorization, control rather, and elaboration strategies. So let's proceed to now the methodology. Methodology consisted of project design, research instrument, research locale, research respondents, data gathering procedure, and statistical treatment. Let's proceed to the first methodology, the project design or the research design. By the way, our research design is a qualitative research design. A qualitative research is an act of inquiry or investigation of real life events which is studied in a natural setting. Next, the research instrument. So we the researcher used a telephone questionnaires which researchers may choose to call potential respondents with the aim of getting them to answer the questionnaire. And also, we use the quota sampling as well. Next will be the local of the study. So the local of the study conducted through phone call interview. And upon interviewing, respondents are in the respective schools in secondary level, public and private schools. Next methodology will be the data gathering procedure. So we the researchers first create letter as a consent to the school principal. If it will be approved, then we have to get the list or names of the respondents. In the third one, we have to create a letter informing the respondents about our purpose. Next will be we will meet the respondents through phone call only. Next, we will be distributing the questionnaires, calculate the temporary results, and lastly to evaluate and analyze the outcome. Next methodology is the research respondents. So by the way, we came up with this number of respondents as a randomly selected. We use the quota sampling in picking up them. So by the way, all secondary mathematics teachers, private and public schools, are one of our respondents. So there are only appropriate 10 respondents, which are 5 males and 5 females. Lastly, the statistical treatment. So we the researchers used descriptive statistics. In a descriptive statistics, it's very useful for us, especially that we use subjective questionnaires. Subjective questionnaires, it means that it's an opinionated and open questionnaire, and open questions that they can answer it, whether how long did they take or how long will they answer it. So through the descriptive statistics, it helps us, the researchers, to summarize and organize the characteristics of a data set. A data set is a collection of responses or observations from a sample or entire population. So for this, it is easy for us to organize and examine how long or how many are they used, or how does their strategies being used, or how they are similarly connected with the strategies being used in private or even in the public schools, and what is the common used by the majority. I guess that would be all. Thank you so much for watching. So clarifications, queries, or some concerns will be raised afterwards. Thank you so much. God bless us all.